Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Sam Hill toko ingoa, ko te Head of Natural Environment Specialist Services. No Waitarua ahau, kei titirangi toko kāinga anainei. Nō reira, he mihi nui ki a koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. I'll hand to Charlie. Charlie, are you here?
Kia ora, yes, I am here. Can you hear me, Sam?
Yes.
O nā mihi, tēnā koutou katoa, ko ai au, he uri ahau no Ngāti Hine Rawa ko Ngāti Whawhākia, ko Charlie May Clarke tōku ingoa. My name is Charlie. I started at DOC early last year as a treaty implementation ranger. In November last year, I then transitioned into my role as project lead Jobs for Nature in the Auckland region. My role is solely to support the Jobs for Nature projects in our region. Each region in New Zealand has someone in the role supporting the Jobs for Nature projects in their region. My role is the primary liaison between the partner and the Jobs for Nature team. It is important that they have the regional context of each project to tell their story to the Jobs for Nature team. My two key roles are to verify the partner's reporting is accurate through monitoring and inspection, but most importantly to support the project partners with the resources I have, such as health and safety plans or connecting them with MSD for employment support, etc. This work actively supports partners to successfully deliver and build their capacity to grow conservation. Kia ora.
Kia ora, Charlie. And kia ora, everyone. So Charlie and I were asked to provide a brief overview of Jobs for Nature in Tāmaki Makaurau. So we will do that from both a council and a Department of Conservation perspective. And then we're going to hand to Glenn Knight to provide some community voice to the Jobs for Nature space in Tāmaki. And I'm trying to move my slide, and there we go. So Jobs for Nature, just a bit of context and background. So in July 2020, the government established the Jobs for Nature program from the budget 2020. The program is $1.2 billion worth. It is focused on three core objectives. So that's creating nature-based jobs with regional spread, supporting enduring benefits for healthy waterways, biodiversity and climate change, and cultural values, and supporting sustainable land use and the implementation of regulatory requirements, including freshwater, biodiversity and climate change. So the funding is managed through some core agencies in government to benefit the environment, people and the regions. Those agencies include the Ministry for the Environment, Department of Conservation, Ministry for Primary Industries, Land Information New Zealand, and the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment. So as I said, it was part of the COVID-19 recovery package, intended to run for 4 years, and really a response to that COVID issue that we all found ourselves in, and the struggles in getting people back into employment as a result of that. I'll now hand to Charlie.
So at DOC, Jobs for Nature funding is helping projects to create temporary jobs on private and public conservation land. Project conservation outcomes include predator control, restoring wetlands, and improving tracks, huts, and other recreational assets. Te Papa Atawhai has been allocated over $500 million. There are 3 funding streams. The first is Kaimahi for Nature, which will likely have the biggest impact in urban Tāmaki. Tāmaki Makaurau has been allocated $13.5 million from the $200 million Kaimahi for Nature Fund to support nature-based jobs in the region. One of the elements which distinguishes this fund from the other two is the way it has been targeted towards helping businesses maintain their workforce and do conservation work as they recover from the impacts of COVID-19. The environmental projects that receive the funding provides a mechanism to target businesses that are considering redundancies and downscaling to temporarily redeploy their staff on projects within their home region. The second is restoring nature, ecosystem restoration on public land and private land. As part of this, 2 one-off contestable funds were created. The first is the Community Conservation Fund, which was allocated $16 million, and this was available to create and or retain jobs in the community-led biodiversity restoration projects on public and private land. The Private Land Biodiversity Fund was allocated $18 million, and this was available for established organisations to lead biodiversity restoration projects on private land that create jobs. Lastly is protecting nature, and this is to create jobs in pest control and eradication, including advancing predator-free New Zealand and working with iwi to prevent collapse of North Island forests. Jobs for Nature will work as a catalyst in so much of the mahi that we do. Instead of a momentary change in direction, Jobs for Nature will work to support and amplify the work that we do and the ability we have to work towards Te Mano Te Taio, Aotea New Zealand Biodiversity Strategy. Kia ora, back to you, Sam.
Kia ora, Charlie. So Auckland Council's role in this. So just wanted to let everyone know that, we did have the opportunity to put up some really early proposals as part of the lift of this Jobs for Nature program. So Auckland Council put up a list of 31 proposed environmental enhancement projects, which actually totaled around 309 million. And that was to help assist government in just setting the scope for what could potentially be this Jobs for Nature program, but also in their preparation of that economic recovery plan. We really wanted to make sure Tāmaki Makaurau was on the table. It's sometimes very challenging nationally to make sure that Tāmaki Makaurau's biodiversity and impacts and opportunities are on the table nationally. So we wanted to make sure we were there, and so we were. And we had, as I say, a generous list of proposals curated from around council and around other agencies and with community, but it was very much at pace. That was one of those overnight requests, send us your proposal. So I remember that process well. It was pretty fast and furious. We also then, once Jobs for Nature was lifted as a program, we supported Te Papa Atawhai with some of the assessments of projects in Tāmaki Makaurau. And we've also worked hard to connect communities with the opportunity as it's become more obvious and as those funding opportunities have become more visible. We've supported community-led applications and continue to support implementation of those projects. And we're also successfully delivering our own projects as well. So we did have some proposals that were put into various pots of Jobs for Nature, and we were successful in receiving funding for those. So clearly we want to deliver those successfully, and we're working really hard to do so. And we've also had a role of being represented on the Jobs for Nature Implementation Special Interest Group. That's quite a mouthful. So that is a regional council collective where we get together and share some of the implementation challenges for councils across the country. And it's been really valuable, actually, just identifying some of the risks with, health and safety, reporting, administration. Clearly we all want to demonstrate success with this funding opportunity, and this particular special interest group gives us the opportunity to support each other with that and to support our communities with that as well. So as I said, we wanted to make sure Tāmaki was on the table for Jobs for Nature opportunities, and that we had some idea of what those opportunities could be, so we could start to go and have those conversations really early on rather than perhaps reacting to an opportunity too late in the piece. So very happy to say, 15 projects in Tāmaki have been successful through that wider Jobs for Nature system and across those different funding agencies and funding buckets that have been available, and worth a total of 138 million in the region. So, really fantastic to see Tāmaki represented in this Jobs for Nature mahi. Over to you, Charlie.
Thank you. Here you can see all of the projects in the Auckland region that have received Jobs for Nature funding to date, noting that DOC has successfully allocated all Jobs for Nature funding, including the Auckland region. The green bubbles are projects that are community-led with support from the Auckland Council, including advice and allied funding support. The blue bubbles are the projects that are being led by Auckland Council in partnership with iwi and community. And the purple bubbles are the projects that are mana whenua-led or is a Māori organisation. This represents different flavours in our region, which covers freshwater and biodiversity restoration activities, pest, plant and animal control, and skills training to support career development and environmental management. Recipients include councils, iwi and community groups. And lastly, a diversity of the flavours is also the locations that you find the Jobs for Nature funding is also in Aotea, Motatapu and on the mainland. Next slide, please. So what you see here is an example of a Jobs for Nature project in our region. This slide mentions the funding agreement deliverables for the project, but the funding agreement does not describe the bigger picture we see here. Mana and Kaimahi is run by Te Whāngai Trust Board. This project is one of many successful projects in the delivery phase in our region. Like many of the Jobs for Nature projects, Mana and Kaimahi has strong social benefits. We know COVID-19 has impacted already vulnerable communities that will continue to disproportionately impact marginalised groups in society. Jobs for Nature support in South Auckland will create nature-based jobs and pathways for rangatahi to demonstrate tūranga waiwai and reconnect people with te whenua. Mana and Kaimahi uses Mātauranga Māori and Te Whare Tapawhā framework and aims to address the need for green spaces in the targeted areas by training risk youth throughout nature-based employment and training opportunities. Up to 18 full-time employment is expected to be created over the project's 3 years. I can happily say that this project is over-delivering in the employment space. The project's goal is to plant 480,000 native flora for the purpose of forestry revegetation, riparian planting, and urban landscape planting. This mahi is an opportunity to integrate environmental and societal goals and establish a workforce that is skilled in conservation work. The economic and conservation benefits of mana and kaimahi will leave a legacy for the communities of South Auckland. Kia ora.
This talk's actually a couple of things at the beginning. This is a big shout out to a couple of people at Auckland Council and the NITA funding, because quite frankly, without that happening, none of this talk would be happening. The NITA funding has been absolutely critical to what's gone on with their organisation. And being an organisation that we, like you might find out later, we operate in the Auckland Council and Waikato Regional Council regions. It's like chalk and cheese. Changing the boundaries. So we are very, very lucky to have Auckland Council's support. So a shout out to the people who have helped us before. So what is Te Ara Hikoi? Well, Te Ara Hikoi started off from the local land care groups. There was a little experiment done, and one of the people who's here at the moment in this talk, Michael Naitai, was really responsible for getting these experiments started. We started doing bait and trap days back in 1998, 1999. And just so happens that the chap who leads Whakapoko Land Care, Andrew Sinclair, and I went to primary school together a couple of years ago. And so we knew each other. And Andrew started experimenting with these bait and trap days and found them to be really, really popular. And he came across and said, hey, do you want to do them at your place at Friends of Te Wairoa, which is the Wairoa River catchment? And we did, and I was going to show you a picture of what happened. It was just unbelievably popular. It was humbling in many ways how popular it was. And after we'd held a couple of these, other community groups started to contact us to see if we would hold them for them. And so we did, and it got really, really successful. So by about the end of 1999, we thought we'd better take things a bit seriously and get ourselves organised rather than just have this successful pilot going. And Michael helped us with that. And we put together a group, which is a combination of Auckland Council. Is that you, Ben? No. Auckland Council, Waikato Regional Council, DOC, the three big land care groups in the Franklin area, and the three local iwi groups that we were dealing with. And we started an organisation called Te Ara Hikoi. And what's going on here? Are you doing this, Ben? You are, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yep. Yeah, so Ben's at the right spot there. So late in 1999, this is a good story, we won a Merrill Award. I nominated Andrew Sinclair, who is in the red shirt there, for an individual award, but that was unsuccessful. And so we heard back from the organisers that we'd been unsuccessful. And then as the award ceremony was coming up, we were invited to the award ceremony, and we found out on the night that in fact they'd changed the categories, and that while we were unsuccessful in the individual one, we'd been put in the collaboration category, which we won, which is a big surprise to us all. But in fact, it was a good call from whoever did it, because I think we did have the best collaboration in 1999. But anyway, we ended up winning a Merrill Award before we were actually an organisation. So that was it. We got things a bit backwards. Got the next slide, Ben? So we put together a strategy document, and it was signed off in February of 2020, the same month that COVID arrived in Auckland. And so we were all primed up and ready to go. And then ever since we've started, we've been walking our way around COVID. Anyway, the strategy document I just wanted to point out, because this is something important about Te Ara Hikoi that I think gives us some strength. You won't hear much about Te Ara Hikoi. It's an umbrella organisation, but we're pushing the organisations who are members of us. So our strategy is not to strengthen ourselves, but to concentrate on strengthening the community groups who we are an umbrella organisation for. So there's not much public facing side of Te Ara Hikoi. You'll see it from our website, which I think maybe in the next slide, Ben? No, from our map. This is our area of focus, and it's huge. So this is the Franklin area and part of northern Waikato. If I had a mouse, I would point out I'd point out the Waikato River and how we operate north of the Waikato River. Thanks, Ben. Across to Mercer, which is roughly there, and then straight across to Miranda on the other side, on the other coast. That's our area of interest. It's huge. That's nearly 200,000 hectares. It's about a quarter of Auckland. Of that, about 150,000 hectares is in Auckland. 20,000 hectares is around the Hunuas, which is an area that Auckland Council contracts from Waikato Council to do the pest control of. That's because it includes a large amount of the Hunua ranges, plus about 25,000 hectares of the northern Waikato. So that's a giant area. Now, the map's got a whole lot of little sections in it, and these are the community groups who contribute to Te Ara Hikoi and who we support. So the important bit is that it's not us, it's the community groups who are doing the predator control, and we're enabling them to do it. And that's been a very, very popular model. We suspect that if we try to take over pest control rather than trying to do it via community groups, we won't get that local motivation that goes with community groups. We think that smaller is better, and not a regional sized organisation isn't going to be useful. For motivating people in the community. Next slide, Ben. So our public facing side is called Predator Free Franklin, and that's actually one of the strengths of the organisation. It's the website, and the website is a central resource for everything. So there's a whole lot of resources about predator control. There's a central database and a mail out system so that we can mail stuff out to people who are registered in our database via their community organisation. So it immediately adds some strength that people are getting notifications from their community organisation via Predator Free Franklin. And it looks like it comes from the community organisation. So we add something to them. It strengthens what they do. And the other thing is that we put a whole lot of local news, etc. in there. So that's our public facing side is Predator Free Franklin, but it's that website is to enable community groups to communicate with their members. Next one, Ben. We've always been big on technology, and part of it is one of the chaps who was in one of those pictures, a guy called Andy Saunders, who's a big programmer for Trap NZ. So we've been on Trap NZ right from the start, probably from the time when it was almost unusable for users, and have been using beta versions ever since. And that's turned out to be a really powerful thing for us in terms of being able to track what we do. So we're lucky in that I think we've backed the winning software in this race, in that I think everybody's starting to go towards Trap NZ, so we don't have to do any transitions. We're very lucky. Do the next one, Ben. We are also into trapping technology. So here's an example of a cage that we use. This is a double-ended cage. It's got a remote sensor, which is, as you can see, zip tied on to the end of it. These are all prototypes. And an automatic lure dispenser. That's a zip lure dispenser. And we've been experimenting with these throughout the region, but particularly in a couple of areas. And these traps we're finding way, way, way better than DOC 250s and DOC 200s. So we're getting 10 times the catch in these traps that we used to get with the DOCs. The thing about the remote sensors is that you have to service these traps every 24 hours, except if it's got a remote sensor, because the remote sensor tells us when it's gone off. So we don't have to go and see the trap every 24 hours. It makes them a very efficient way of doing landscape scale projects. Next slide, Ben. And what we're doing to facilitate this is we're putting out a whole lot of LoRa antennae around the area, trying to cover the area so that we can use smart trap technology throughout the area. That's the map that you see there is our current coverage. We're very deficient out in the east, but we've done well in the west. And part of what we'll be doing in the near future is building that network out to the east. Next slide, Ben. So that's what we've been up to. We've been really successful. It's really humbling. Our area is full of lifestyle blocks. That's mostly what we've got. So we've got a combination of farms and lifestyle blocks with a change in land use from farming towards lifestyle blocks. And we've had huge uptake. So in the Friends of Wairoa region, for example, which is about a 20,000 hectare region, we're just nudging up to 20% of the residences on our database that we've reached over the last 3 or 4 years. So 20% is starting to get to a threshold where we've got some areas where we've got 80, 90% of people, Ness Valley is an example, of 80, 90% of people trapping actively. And it's absolutely changing the environment. You can't miss it. Once you get up to these critical levels, it all starts to work. So it's been a very successful model so far, but we got JFN funding. We were lucky enough to get that last year, and that has absolutely transformed what we can do. So on a practical level, this will give us about 4 or 5 FTEs working as a contracting team and focusing on the BFAs and covenants around the Franklin area. Now, it's a team of one contracting team isn't going to make a huge difference to biodiversity, but it has a whole lot of knock-on effects that are good for us. So the first one is that the contracting team enables us to go onto farms that we couldn't do before. The bait and trap days are good for lifestyle blocks, but for big farms, once you get to 200 hectares and things, those people need help. And so the contracting team is going to be a big help with us accessing some of the important properties in important areas for us. What we're going to do with them is we're going to dovetail in with the extensive Auckland Council programs that are, the pest control programs that are already going on in the area. And we're going to try and increase their effectiveness. For example, in terms of possum control, where there's bait lines that are serviced once every 3 years, we're going to look to service them every 6 months. And so we're going to increase the amount of work that's been done generally in the area. The Jobs for Nature funding allows us to trial some of that technology that I was just talking about on a larger scale, and we'll be doing that, and we'll be looking to see if we can eliminate certain sorts of pests using it. It also helps us with the skills shortage of local people. We've had trappers in our area for ages, and the last lot that I spoke to came from Christchurch. That's ridiculous. And so there's not enough locally trained people, and this is going to help us heaps with it. And the last thing is it's going to help us grow up as an organisation. So we had to grow up once in 1999, now we have to really grow up. So we're forming a trust, and we're in the late stages of forming a trust that's got the 3 big land care groups in the area and the 4 iwi with interests in the area represented. And that should be finished shortly. And that'll be a big help because we're not stopping here. We're starting to negotiate with Predator Free 2050. So we've been in contact with them already to turn our area into a focus area for 2050. There's no showstoppers so far that have come up, and we're going to work with them over the duration of the JFN funding to get to a position where we can get central funding from Predator Free 2050 to continue and increase the amount of work that we do. So that's, I could talk forever about this, but that's Te Ara Hikoi. That's where we are at the moment and where we want to be. Again, I'd like to thank everyone in Auckland Council who's helped us with this. Without you guys, this would never have happened. So it's a big call out to you. That's enough from me.
Kia ora, Glenn. Thank you so much. I think I'm handing to Sandra. Am I handing to you, Sandra, now? Oh, maybe we've lost Sandra. Well, maybe it's with me then. So any questions for myself, Charlie, or Glenn? Oh, here we go. So I can see there's some in the chat, so I'll just pick those up. I think this one's for you, Glenn. Did you say that 80 to 90% of landowners are involved in pest control?
In some areas, we've got 80 to 90% of residences doing pest control. So that usually tends to be where there's individuals who are really busy at it. But it's also in smaller, it's where people can think locally about the area. So Ness Valley is a classic for that. People think about the Valley. You know, it's the Republic of Ness Valley. We'll print our own notes soon, I'm sure. But in a place like that, you can get everybody into it. And then there's an element of shame about, oh, you're the only one who's not doing it. And so the dominoes start to fall faster and faster. But once you get that sort of level of involvement, the environment changes. So, for example, last year we were mobbed by flocks of kaka in Ness Valley. You know, it's the first time we've had them so far out of the who knows. Usually see one or two of them, but they were ripping my trees apart and all sorts of things. They were fantastic visitors. We had them for about 6 months. They've gone again, but stuff like that is the best motivation for landowners that there can be. It's right in front of you. Imagine if it took 10 years for the birds to come back. That would be really hard to keep people motivated, but it doesn't. 2 years and you see a difference. It's fantastic.
Oh, great. Thank you, Glenn. Looks like there's a question for myself and Charlie. So from Margaret, great to see the employment numbers, fantastic. Given COVID affected the employment of women disproportionately, do you think Jobs for Nature has addressed this? Well, I might hand to Charlie to answer that kind of more nationally. Charlie, do you want to talk to that one?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer it. That's a really good question. At the start of the Jobs for Nature project, bearing in mind that I had started in November, there was a snapshot report that was developed particularly for the Auckland region. And not only did it identify the different, it identified South Auckland and West Auckland being affected a lot more from COVID, but also it also identified being a woman being in West Auckland, and we had identified those in the snapshot report, and we thought about those strategically on how we select the projects in the region. Now the projects don't necessarily select women towards when going into employment. It is those who you need it more, who don't have roles at the moment, but certainly there was identification of women being affected in that.
Kia ora, thanks, Charlie.
What does Dad, Sam, what were they? We're going to look for a bit of positive discrimination in our employment too, is to try and get women involved in it.
Kia ora, Glenn, thank you. Question from Kate. What is the plan to get the Jobs for Nature projects together regularly and virtually to gather feedback and share learnings? We think there is huge potential for shared learning in the Tāmaki Makaurau region, and some facilitation of this by AC and DOC together would be timely and help drive more value from the investment. Yeah, kia ora, Kate. Totally hear you on that and agree. And that's something, well, actually, I'll hand to Charlie as she's in a Jobs for Nature role in case there are already plans afoot. Charlie, do you want to talk to that?
Yep, happy to speak to that. There's not any at the moment, but I think that's an absolutely awesome idea because, as you know, Jobs for Nature is temporary and it's only planned to go for 4 years. And I think what would be good would to have all those Jobs for Nature people come together and talk about sustainable funding or how you can work together to get to that.
Yeah, kia ora, Charlie, and yeah, absolutely keen to do that collaboratively with DOC and Auckland Council supporting a gathering like that. That would be something we'd really like to support as well. Another question, Charlie. Charlie mentioned this is a 4-year program, excuse me. Are there plans to continue to support projects when the initial funding ends?
Not at this stage, but it's in conversations, but no, not at this stage.
Yeah, and I might just add to that actually, just in terms of that Jobs for Nature implementation special interest group, the mouthful group that I'm representative on, that has come up as a big risk across all of the projects and across all of the country. You know, this is kind of ignition funding that gets something set up. How do we ensure that those opportunities and benefits and the projects and the outcomes are enduring beyond the 4-year term? And that's a real challenge for government and for local government and for regional councils to really think about, and we are thinking about it. And how do we best enable that and support that? And it's actually a bigger system question too, because it's not just, you know, DOC and Auckland Council, it's the whole system that's set up around that Jobs for Nature opportunity. How are we going to keep this alive and growing beyond the 4-year funding term? So I don't have the answer, and I don't know that anyone has the answer right now, but just to reassure everyone, it is very much on the table for consideration and, you know, related actions to help that momentum continue. Sorry, just picking up the other questions. Nigel, you will interrupt me if we're running out of time, won't you? Will there be another round of Jobs for Nature funding or CF from DOC?
To answer that very quickly, no, I wish. I mean, it would continue my job, but yeah, to kind of expand on the question that was answered earlier, projects are thinking about funding in the future. This Jobs for Nature is acting as a catalyst for them to get funding from other organisations, other agencies in the future, and those are in conversations.
Kia ora, thanks, Charlie. And another one from Kate. So Te Ara Hikoi, like Aotea Great Barrier Environmental Trust, are carrying out similar functions spatially. Would be great to have a way to connect us and other similar trusts doing this enabling and advocacy work soon. Possible? Question mark? Absolutely, Kate. Well, yes. I don't have the answer for the how, but let Charlie and I go away from this and come up with a response to the how, because it's very possible. Charlie, did you have anything you want to add to that? Because maybe you already have plans.
Nothing to add to that.
Nothing to add to that.
Can I add to that? It's impossible to operate without your neighbours being around. So we are already in contact with Waiheke, for example, because their stoat eradication program is not likely to work until we've stopped them swimming from the mainland. And so they're really, really keen. And so we've got something here from Great Barrier. There's stuff, we need to find some stuff about shoreline trapping, for example. There's heaps of groups like the Howick group who have been doing it, or Music Point, or the Crest group. So there's lots and lots of opportunities to swap war stories and be better as a result of it. It'd be a fantastic forum.
Kia ora, thanks, Glenn. Pest Free Waitakere Rangers Alliance would be another to include with regional umbrella groups. Thanks, Sam. Any other questions for us? Otherwise, I will hand back to Nigel. Some really good suggestions there and things that we can follow up on and will follow up on, and we'll come back to you through this Pest Liaison Group connection, but also wider connections, because I think that, there's already a lot of networking opportunities and tools out there at the moment that we can realise the benefits of a bit better and bring this Jobs for Nature mahi more closely into that. But then there's also the specific Jobs for Nature system and connecting you all on that, because there are some requirements and opportunities that are quite specific to that particular piece of funding.